Hey, what's going on out there? I'm Sean Devine. Hope you all are doing well. In this tutorial, we're going to have some fun with the all new Waves plugin Silk Vocal and Silk Vocal Live.
Readmit me, I'm a patient in the booth, sharing truth with the youth, oh yeah. I don't got time to reflect on the reasons that you gotta hate on my prayers. I just keep sending them high.
This is a plugin that will make a lot of other plugins unnecessary. I have a vocal chain here that I used on this rap verse that I released, and it has something like 12, 13 plugins in it. With Silk Vocal and the chain we're gonna build today has a total of a whopping 3 plugins. I'm gonna share links to the vocal chain so you can download that, use it in your own sessions, as well as share some information about how to pick up this new Silk Vocal plugin. So let's go ahead and dive in.
Readmit me, I'm a patient in the booth, sharing truth with the youth, oh yeah. I don't got time to reflect on the reasons that you gotta hate on my prayers. I just keep sending them high. Hopes of my dreams, they've been touching the sky, but it's only the start. He's reshaping my heart, so my purpose is worth it. Shed light in the dark and consumed.
All right, so we're gonna start off by disabling that actual vocal chain from my Vocal Chains SR pack. As you can see, a little bit more involving, a bit more intensive on your CPU. We're gonna reduce all of that down to 3 total plugins, again, with Silk Vocal. So we'll just turn this off. We'll open up a new instance of StudioRack. And just to note, there are 2 different versions of Silk Vocal included. You get the original version, and then you get Silk Vocal Live. The difference here, obviously, is that Silk Vocal Live is to be used on a live tracking setting or something that you need to have less latency. You get 1.5 milliseconds of plugin latency, as shown here in StudioRack. And then the normal version of Silk Vocal is going to be a bit more precise in terms of the processing that we're going to take a look at in just a minute. But it does have 24.6 milliseconds of plugin latency, which is not going to be the best choice for live situations, but it's going to be the right choice for what we're going to do today in mixing. Let's take a listen to the dry verse vocal, just so you can get an idea of the recording as well as the frequency response of the microphone.
Readmit me, I'm a patient in the booth, sharing truth with the youth, oh yeah. I don't got time to reflect on the reasons that you gotta hate on my prayers. I just keep sending them high. Hopes of my dreams, they've been touching the sky, but it's only the start. He's reshaping my heart, so my purpose is worth it. Shed light in the dark and consumed.
So we've got boominess and resonance in the low end. There's harshness in the mid frequencies. And then there's undesirable frequencies in the top end, some sibilance. You know, a lot of you are just looking for the quickest way to get closer to a mixed sound immediately, like as you're tracking your vocals. And we've talked about EQing and compressing your vocal on the way in so you get more of an optimal frequency response and something that's just going to be a lot less work in the mix. Silk Vocal takes that idea to the next level because it intelligently and dynamically suppresses those unwanted resonances across the entire frequency spectrum of your vocal in terms of lows, mids, and highs, and then it gives you a compressor right there with auto makeup gain. So let me just keep this soloed. I'm going to dial this in real quick and we'll talk more about what's going on underneath the hood.
Readmit me, I'm a patient in the booth, sharing truth with the youth, oh yeah. I don't got time to reflect on the reasons that you gotta hate on my prayers. I just keep sending them high. Hopes of my dreams, they've been touching the sky, but it's only the start. He's reshaping my heart, so my purpose is worth it. Shed light in the dark and consumed. This love is everywhere all the time. You've been focused on the fear, no more. The hustle, the struggle, the fit, an illusion, a sentence, the giving, the shame. We've been redeemed by the name Christ. Say what you wanna say, God in my lane. Don't get it twisted, I'm still broken, but thank God I never be the same. Yeah, yeah. Readmit me, I'm a patient in the booth, sharing truth with the youth, oh yeah. I don't got time to reflect on the reasons that you gotta hate on my prayers. I just keep sending them high. Hopes of my dreams, they've been touching the sky, but it's only the start. He's reshaping my heart, so my purpose is worth it. Shed light in the dark and consumed. This love is everywhere all the time. You've been...
Yeah, so that took us about 10 seconds, right? And we already got a much more optimal sound. Now, if you want to monitor what is being suppressed here with Silk, we can just turn this button up here on, and it will let us monitor all 3 bands of suppression.
Readmit me, I'm a patient in the booth, sharing truth with the youth, oh yeah. I don't got time to reflect on the reasons that you gotta hate on my...
The 2 controls here for the high section, this is going to be more of a traditional de-esser, reducing sibilance, and then this one acts more like a shelf, and it's going to suppress frequencies across everything above 4K, so a little bit different action there. Now, if you want to click this arrow down here, you get a couple of additional options. We have a high pass filter that cuts everything below 60 Hertz. I'm going to leave that on. You can also adjust the attack and release speed of the suppression up here, as well as the precision. A sharp Q is going to give you more notches in that reduction, could give you some artifacts like it says here, versus if you go smooth, that Q is just going to be a wider curve across the suppression. And you get a nice handy gate, so I had a little bit of headphone bleed in the recording. That will take care of that. Okay, so with Silk Vocal, we have more of an optimal frequency response for our microphone. Let's say some of you out there are using budget mics. Maybe you're using a solid state pre on your interface and you're just not getting a lot of heat, a lot of flavor, saturation out of that. We can use the plugin that was free on Black Friday from Waves last year, which is Little Tube. And this is a great plugin to add some of that tube saturation, just give it some warmth and a little bit of grit and character to your vocal. I find a little goes a long way with this plugin, so we're going to leave the sensitivity at normal and then maybe add a 2 or 3 on the drive.
Readmit me, I'm a patient in the booth, sharing truth with the youth, yeah. I don't got time to reflect on the reasons that you gotta hate on my prayers. Readmit me, I'm a patient in the booth, sharing truth with the youth, yeah. I don't got time to reflect on the reasons that you gotta hate on my prayers. I just keep sending them high. Hopes of my dreams, they've been touching the sky, but it's only the start, he's reshaping my heart, so my purpose is worth it. Shed light in the dark and consumed.
So it just puts our vocal a little bit more up front, gives it some character. Finally, let's use a parallel split, and just for fun, let's use another free plugin from, I don't know, a couple years back. It was called Lo-Fi Space, I think is what it was. Yeah, this is a very nice echo reverb. It has a plate reverb, and then it has this sort of retro flavored echo to it. Let's try that. I'm going to switch this to 16th, and we'll adjust the blend here. I may put on headphones so I can hear this a little bit easier. Let's try.
Readmit me, I'm a patient in the booth, sharing truth with the youth, yeah. I don't got time to reflect on the reasons that you gotta hate on my prayers. I just keep sending them high. Hopes of my dreams, they've been touching the sky, but it's only the start, he's reshaping my heart, so my purpose is worth it. Shed light in the dark, it consumed. This love is everywhere all the time, you've been focused on the fear. No more, the hustle, the struggle, the fit, an illusion, a sin is to give in to shame. We've been redeemed by the name Christ. Say what you wanna say, God in my lane.
So just EQing it a little bit. We could go mono, but I'm gonna leave it more stereo, and then we have that nice ping pong delay here.
Readmit me, I'm a patient in the booth, sharing truth with the youth, yeah. I don't got time to reflect on the reasons that you gotta hate on my prayers. I just keep sending them high. Hopes of my dreams, they've been touching the sky, but it's only the start.
In the context of the mix,
I just keep sending them high. Hopes of my dreams, they've been touching the sky, but it's only the start, he's reshaping my heart, so my purpose is worth it. Shed light in the dark, it consumed. This love is everywhere all the time, you've been focused on the fear. No more, the hustle, the struggle, the fit, an illusion, a sin is to give in to shame. We've been redeemed by the name Christ. Say what you wanna say, God in my lane. Don't get it twisted, I'm still broken, but thank God I never be the same.
So out of curiosity, let's compare that now with the full-fledged StudioRack chain from Vocal Chains SR. I'm just curious how close we are with those 3 plugins.
Readmit me, I'm a patient in the booth, sharing truth with the youth, yeah. I don't got time to reflect on the reasons that you gotta hate on my prayers. Readmit me, I'm a patient in the booth, sharing truth with the youth, yeah. I don't got time to reflect on the reasons that you gotta hate on my prayers.
If you don't have an outboard EQ and compressor that you're tracking with, the Silk Vocal Live is going to be a great option for those of you out there who want to get that more optimal response out of your vocal recording. And I would argue that this is going to be a more powerful way of doing so and doing it very efficiently. All right, y'all. So I'm going to map out some macros for you all in this StudioRack chain. I will post that up for free in StudioVerse. So just use the link in the description. Pick up the preset. Now would also be a very smart time to utilize the link in the description to get Silk Vocal. Wink, wink. Hope you have a lot of fun with the plugin. Also just want to send out my continued thoughts and prayers to those of you around the world. If you are struggling right now know that you are not alone. I really want to encourage you all during this time. You know, I know all of us are going through different things at different times, at different places, but we're in this together. I'm going to be taking a little bit of time away from videos here towards the end of the year, maybe more towards the beginning of next year. I'm okay. Don't worry about me. Please keep me in your prayers. Just need to focus on my self-care right now. But I hope that some of the videos this year have been helpful. Much love to y'all. Talk to you soon.